Let's talk about something you've almost certainly seen. It's happening right now, in living rooms, in restaurants, even in the back seats of our cars. It's a crisis, really, that's unfolding in plain sight, and it seems to be rewiring an entire generation's brains. Today, we're diving deep into the phenomenon of the iPad kid. So, what do we even mean when we say iPad kid? Well, it's not just some throwaway insult anymore. It's actually becoming a clinical reality. Researchers, in this case from Malaysia, are defining it as a label for kids who are so plugged into their devices that they genuinely struggle to function without them. This isn't just about a kid having a tablet. It's about a deep dependency that is shaping Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
And look, this isn't some abstract, far-off concern for academics. It has profound, real-world consequences. Just take a look at this from a 19-year-old on Reddit. It's really powerful. We've kind of traded messy, real-world interaction for these neat digital pacifiers, and now we're starting to see the result. A generation of young adults who feel like they're struggling to catch up.
So what does this dependency actually look like? Well, the most obvious sign is something you've probably seen a dozen times, but maybe you haven't really thought about what it means. It's the first symptom we're going to talk about, the digital trance. You know the look, right? The iPad stare. The mouth is kind of hanging open, eyes are glazed over, completely lost in the screen. This isn't a child who's actively engaged in learning. No, this is something else entirely. It's a state of passive consumption. The brain isn't really doing anything. It's just getting hit with this endless fire hose of digital stuff. But what's actually happening in the brain to create that trance-like state? Well, the answer is in this simple but incredibly powerful psychological loop. It really all comes down to gratification. See, the digital world, it offers this constant drip feed of dopamine hits. Every swipe, every new video, it's an instant, easy reward. But the real world, that's different. It demands effort. It involves frustration and problem solving to get that same rewarding feeling. One of these paths builds patience and resilience. The other builds an addiction to getting what you want right now. Now, to be fair, the science here does have some nuance. There was a recent study that found for fully grown adults, a quick 10-minute scroll through TikTok didn't really have a major impact on their executive function, the part of the brain that handles planning and self-control. So for a developed brain, a little bit of exposure might not be a huge deal. But, and this is a huge but, for a child's brain, which is still under construction, it's a completely different story. A 2011 study found that for 4-year-olds, just 9 minutes of a fast-paced cartoon was enough to temporarily mess with their executive functions. These are the very skills they need to learn self-control. We're essentially programming the most vulnerable brains for instant rewards, and they're the least equipped to handle it. So, okay, you've got a brain that's being wired for instant gratification and just passively consuming content. What happens when that child has to deal with the messy, unpredictable world of, other human beings? It's really a zero-sum game. As psychologist Dr. Rebecca High explains it, every single minute spent staring at a screen is a minute not spent learning the incredibly complex language of human interaction. Empathy isn't something you're born with, it's a skill, and it's built through thousands and thousands of tiny face-to-face moments. And this just spells out what's being pushed aside. That Malaysian research on iPad kids identified this whole list of skills that are at risk. We're talking about empathy, communication, learning how to resolve a conflict, or just tolerating frustration. These are the absolute building blocks of a functional social life, and they seem to be eroding. And let's just go back to that 19-year-old story for a second. This is the direct result of that empathy deficit. It's this inability to connect, this feeling of constantly falling behind your peers, and the just heartbreaking reality of ruining friendships because you feel like you were never given the right tools to communicate. Okay, I know this all sounds pretty dire, but there is a powerful, scientifically backed alternative that builds the very skills that screens are pushing out. It's time to talk about the power of play. Just look at the difference here. Screen time is passive. It's predictable. You're just a consumer of content. But real-world play? That's active. It's unpredictable. You have to solve problems in real time. Think about it. A kid building a fort is literally building their own world. A kid swiping through videos is just watching someone else's go by. And here's exactly how that building process works. You see, unstructured play is like a workout for the developing brain. It demands problem solving. It forces creativity and teamwork. And maybe most importantly, it builds resilience. It teaches kids that it's okay when things don't go perfectly the first time you try. So when we put all of these pieces together, it becomes pretty clear that modern parenting is standing at a fundamental crossroads, a really important decision.
And it really boils down to this, doesn't it? Are we fostering creators or are we enabling consumers? One of them actively engages with the world. They shape it, they learn from it. The other just passively receives it. Entertained, for sure, but maybe unequipped for the real challenges of life.
And that leaves us with a really profound question, one that has huge implications for an entire generation. Are we raising children who are prepared for all the complexities of the real, messy, beautiful world? Or are we just training users, perfectly optimized for the digital one?